The girl takes the hero with her, and when they go a decent distance, she claims that the fairest sex had gone too far. Zietian, feeling the girl's annoyance, he asks her not to think about it and quickly changes the subject, suggesting that they eat together since they are already friends. Released, Kingsu notices that they are almost home, so he suggests that they eat at a nearby restaurant. Here, a familiar blonde man who tried so hard to impress appears in front of his relatives. Her birthday party, which caused only disgust. He claims that he has been waiting for a girl for a long time and I'm glad she's finally back. The cousin digs into the hero's shoulder, asking why he's back again, stalking her because she already told him she had a boyfriend. The same person notices that the guy, it's a small matter because he still has a chance while she's not married. The rich man steps aside and points to a brand new car, claiming that he bought it for BMW. Girls, he grabs her by the wrist and hands her the keys, even though Kingsu tries to pull away because he can't. He wants it, but the blonde says that he will never take back what he gave him. The beauty repeats again that she doesn't want this, so she pushes the keys away with her hand. Conflict. Zietian decides to take the keys, saying that he wants to have a car. This is an action, causes stupor in both debaters. The blonde asks if the hero wants to buy a car. He gives a positive answer, after which the interviewee notices that if he wants to do this, he will give the car to him, provided that he leave Kingsu. Zietian is just clarifying. These keys are for him. The rich man gives a positive answer, thinking they agreed. The girl is in shock. The guy approaches a tramp who is lying on the road and begging for alms, and informs that he is a tramp. The brand new red BMW is now his. These words are stupefying, both to my cousin and to me, a pesky blonde guy. The girl quickly approaches him, asking what he is doing. She thinks that he laughs at people with disabilities. Zietian also asks if she is sure she knew what he was like. The guy turns to the poor man, asking if he wants a car or not. If he refuses, then the hero is ready to give the keys to someone else. The old man immediately jumps to the floor, legs ceasing to be crippled and saying what he wants. When the blonde man wakes up, he asks, wait for the old man, who is already getting into the car. He runs up to a brand new car and demands, get out because it's his car. But the older man steps on the gas. The car takes off as the rich man screams loudly to stop. A few moments later, the car crashes into the wall. Tears appear in the blonde's eyes because the BMW was simply destroyed. He grabs his head because he wasn't the driver, and after he hit a wall, he won't get his insurance paid. Kingsu laughs at the stupidity of the situation. Zietian yawns as she heads to school. Suddenly, a car pulls up next to him. The girl sitting in the passenger seat is surprised that he still walks to school. She suggests that he get in the car to get there faster. The owner of the car that sits behind the wheel. At the wheel, he notices that you don't need to let him sit here because you smell of manure from him, and he doesn't want to get his car dirty. The beauty presses to the guy, asking if he really doesn't want to sacrifice the car. The interlocutor declares that he will do anything for her. The hero also asks him to drive carefully because yesterday he saw the accident, and if he drives badly, his relatives will be in tears. The car, Dauntless, does not have time to drive off in 100 meters as it crashes into a garbage truck. While the guy is fighting with the driver of a car carrying garbage, the girl shouts nervously that she knows why she liked Zietian before. After a while, the hero is sitting at his desk in the school. The same girl is heading towards him. The beauty sits down at the next desk. The guy decides to find out if the trash has been removed. Representative. The fairer sex explodes, declaring that he will never find a girlfriend, and it's a good thing that she broke up with him because he wasn't good enough for her. The brunette calmly admits that he doesn't. He deserves it, and she deserves it, because the slave is looking for fish, the shrimp are looking for shrimp, but the toads, frogs. The girl jumps up from the table, realizing that the interlocutor only called her a toad, and he says that no beauty will approach him. Someone knocks on the classroom door, asking if there is a student named Zietian in this class. Everyone's eyes widen when a beautiful girl enters the room. Even a hero. He is confused, jumping up and down from his seat as if he can't believe his eyes. The guys start whispering to each other. They wonder who she is. Many people notice the hero's reaction, which is why it is assumed that he knows the beauty. Someone even claims that the guest, so beautiful that it is impossible to compare her with Venya. Zietian takes off, not understanding what's going on, but there's something in the girl's hands. What belongs to him? This something turns out to be a children's toy horse. The girl gives the toy to the hero, who immediately rushes to to find out who she is and who gave her this horse. The interviewee says that since he knows who it is, then he should go with her, because this person has already waiting for him. Zietian calls for him to be taken to him immediately. At this time, the class begins to pinches, because no one knows who a toad is until they compare it to a swan. This hits you hard on Pride of Venya. After a few minutes, the hero goes outside and meets with a man who looks similar to him. This is Brother Ma. He grabs the hero by the neck, noticing that 10 years have passed, and he is more and more similar. Their father. The hero can't believe that this is really Xiao Ma's brother. He admits that, I missed him. It turns out that Zietian gave this horse to his brother when he was leaving. Brother represents the girl who came to see off the hero. This is his daughter-in-law Huey. That Zietian was so small back then and always chased after him. The hero also notices that it was, naturally, his brother is 7 years older than him. This causes the girl to chuckle. The hero decides to find out how the godfather is doing and how his health is. Brother Ma talks about, it only happens when they get to the apartment. If it hadn't been for the godfather who saved me, he would have died. He wanted to repay him in the future, but he made him forget the road forever. I went home and told him not to come back. The guy remembers that his father was always like this, so he never had any friends who could visit him. Brother Ma offers the hero to move in with him because he has more. No one is home, so he wants to take care of a relative. Zietian asks her brother not to worry because he now has a place to live. Xiao Ma clearly wanted to find out more about this nuance, but they start calling him. He is forced to pick up the phone, and in the course of the conversation it turns out that he had to drive somewhere right away. It turns out that Xiangtu's father suffers from gout and can't go outside right now, so Brother Ma has to run errands for him. He offers the hero to go with him because he is still so. There's a lot to tell him. Zietian agrees, after which they get in the car and drive out. While in the car, the hero immediately asks who Xiangtu is and why the brother should run his errands. Xiao Ma explains that he deals in construction materials and that this person has a lot of connections with people from above, so he is considered his patron. As the brothers leave the car, Ma points out that Xiangtu is a good person and that he doesn't belong to those people who can be bought with money, so he will help him in everything. Brothers. They enter the house and go up to the desired floor. In the bedroom, two subordinates dress a man. The hero takes off, urging not to touch him. The two men don't understand who he is or what happens. Even Brother Ma is perplexed by what is happening, asking what Zietian is doing. The hero picks up the man on his shoulder while two people call him immediately. Stop now. He takes off and starts running, and the trio of people follow him. One demands that the master be released, and the other calls Zietian a madman. In a few moments, the same gentleman begins to vomit violently. Zietian stops and puts him on the bed. The man wipes vomit from his lips, noting that he feels much better. He thanks for that the guy saved his life. Zietian wonders what the master just ate. He says without any concealment, it was hot snow toad soup, a tonic that an old friend had sent him. Dark hair wants to see this dish. The servant brings in a small container of what the master drank. The hero takes the soup in his hands and begins to carefully examine it. After examining the contents of the plate, the guy clarifies how much the master hates this person. The latter explains that he does not hate him at all because they have known each other for a long time, and the soup brought him. Son. Zietian explains that the snow toad is naturally cold, and these herbs can bring out cold snow toad poison, so even a healthy person will not live long after taking it. More than 3 months. These words amaze the man, because he understands that the guy really saved his life. The hero also asks him not to worry, because he will not stay away, but he needs a set of silver needles. At this moment, one of the servants nervously asks if the guy has a medical license or not. Does he have a license to practice medicine? Because if he doesn't have one, then he just can't do things like that. The hero admits that he does not have a license, but he has a simple desire to save people, so that if they trust him, they will allow the patient to be cured, and if not, he will immediately leave. The man immediately declares that he believes the guy right now, because if it wasn't for him, he wouldn't even have lasted in Dr. Guo's hospital. Zietian is surprised that this hospital belongs to a man. After all, he thought it was a hospital, state-owned company. He also casts a sideways glance at the guy who decided to give his opinion before this one, considering him some kind of charlatan. the maid is going to call the police, counting the guy, a fraudster who is going to kill a person because he is performing a medical operation without a doctor's permission. Licenses. The master demands to forget about it and bring him a set of needles that he has. Brother Ma decides to find out if Xia Tian really knows how to heal. The latter gives a positive result, an answer, adding that he learned a little from his father. Hearing this, Ma suggests first call Xiang Tu, because his brother is not an official doctor. The man interrupts him, declaring that he is the master of his house. After a few moments, one of the man's subordinates brings the box. The owner asks for it. Use them. Xia Tian opens the box and is startled. After all, these are divine Bian needles. The patient notices that the younger brother has good eyesight. But these are not real divine signs, Bian needles, for they were only created by later generations according to the records. Ancient masters. The hero declares that they are a great treasure, thanks to which he can cure it in a month at most. The gentleman claims to believe the guy. He takes the shirt off his body and sits down on the bed. Xia Tian. He picks up the needles and gets to work. Ma is very worried, watching what is happening. The hero is the same, having stuck about 6 needles. He notices that it's even better than expected, so it only takes him 10 minutes. An unexpected voice shouts for everyone in the room to listen. It calls for, release the hostages immediately and surrender. At the entrance to the building there are 2 squads of police officers who call out through a loudspeaker. Criminals surrender and hand over hostages. One of the policemen asks if the team can to find the captors and hostages. In response, he is informed that they confirm that in the house, someone is there, but they can't pinpoint the exact location. Law enforcement officer. He asks the servant if he is sure that the kidnappers and hostages are in the house. That, the same person who behaved suspiciously towards the hero claims that they should be there. Hearing this, the man gives the command to storm. Several policemen break into the house, encouraging no one to move and raise their hands in the air. They freeze in place when there is a light in the hallway. On the sofa, they are met by 4 people who are peacefully sipping tea. One of the policemen still finds the strength to say that they were called and told that I've captured the headmaster's father. The owner of the house says that they were mistaken because he was sitting all this time. That's where I talked to my client, so there was no abduction or capture. Then the same liar bursts into the room and points a finger at Xia Tian, saying that this guy has no money. The person doesn't have a medical license, and he treats Mr. Xiang. The man also reports that I was seeing my client, and this doctor had just been fired by him, so probably in retaliation, he called the police with a false statement. These words put the applicant in a stupor. The police quickly make decisions to take a man for a false denunciation, because the situation is really not in his favor. He asks to wait, considering it a misunderstanding. The hero thanks the master and he notes that he should do it. Thank the guy. He admits that it doesn't do him much good, so he'll give it to him. The master is going to give the hero a box with the same needles. The guy wants to refuse. After all, it is too valuable. But the interlocutor declares that this treasure will be useful only in his own time. Hence, Xia Tian still accepts the gift, thanking for it. After some time, the hero greets Mrs. Policeman. The girl also asks not to call her that. The guy ignores it, wanting to know why she wanted to meet him. Bingbing asks you not to say that, because she's here to ask him for help. The beauty notices that she thought his aunt asked him to cooperate with her, so she grabs his arm, urging him to follow her. Xia Tian also wishes to know where they're going. The girl reveals that she was assigned to track down a man named Wang Gangi, find out who's behind it. She wants them to go to the casino together and find out what's in there. Happens. Here the guy still decides to clarify whether the girl is going to go to the casino in this form. Clothing. Na Bingbing is currently in sportswear. She asks what's wrong with her clothing. The hero grabs the beauty by the hand, starting the movement in the opposite direction. She nervously asks where he is taking her. It turns out that the guy took her to the store and put on her short shorts and a t-shirt. Bingbing doesn't. She believes that this is how she should dress. Xia Tian also notes that the more it tightens the t-shirt, the more it seems that she is not wearing shorts. This makes the beauty blush and she calls him to shut up. Partners go to the casino, at the entrance to which is on duty a few guys. One of the trio asks who it is. The hero replies that he is a friend of Old Man Zhu. The other one specifies, why did he need it? Xia Tian wraps his arms around the girl's waist, claiming that she is his wife. The guy clarifies, still not convinced. After that, he turns to Bingbing and gets ready. Kiss her. The latter resists out of embarrassment. All this is interrupted by a man, which encourages the couple to pass and not show off in front of them. The hero thanks and the beauty. He grumbles that if he was going to do it, he should have done it. The guy turns around, asking what she said. Bingbing says nothing. They enter the casino. The hero asks her not to be so serious and relax. He sits the beauty down at the game table, inviting you to participate in the game. Bingbing doesn't understand what his partner is doing, does he? He specifies whether she prefers more or less. After this question, the officer's pupils. They narrow because she doesn't understand what the dodger means. Seeing the incomprehension in the client's eyes, the dealer hastened to explain that the young man asks if you place a higher or lower bid. Zietian declares that his wife is doing bid for less. Players start the game and drop 1-2-4, which is less. A representative of the fair sex clarifies whether this is a victory. The guy suggests that she just take and play with them first while he goes to look elsewhere. Bingbing bets on more. While the hero leaves, the guy goes to the next room, mentally noting that if he wants to find information, then it's better find some unhappy person. He spots a guy standing at the bar who's looking at him, getting drunk. He sits down next to him and asks if he needs money. Interlocutor notifies that they can't afford to take out a loan. Then Zietian says that it is not a loan, because if he can provide him with the necessary information, then he will give him money. Just like that, the interlocutor is interested in what information the hero needs. After a while, Zietian returns to her partner. He asks how the game went. When they leave the casino, the girl says that she lost all the money that he handed over. The guy just replies that this is a good job, after which he reports that he has achieved progress on your part. The beauty can't wait to hear the details. Zietian sets a condition, saying that for a kiss will tell everything. However, noticing the change in the face of the interlocutor, he hurries to say that this is just a joke. The guy gets down to business, telling her that the guy she's looking for is the guy she's looking for. She, Wang Gang, goes to KTV Fire Day every Sunday, so he'll go with her when he gets there. Bingbing thanks him for his help, and after that, she notes that it's not a problem for her to kiss him. However, the interlocutor is already calling his cousin, starting a dialogue with a relative. It makes me angry. A beauty who kicks him off his feet because he decided to ignore her at such an important moment. Zietian looks around, not understanding what's wrong with this fair sex. The day of the university entrance exam arrives. The hero goes outside, yawning and stretching. He decides to go and sit somewhere. The guy also thinks about the fact, why doesn't he find a place to drink? Zietian goes to the bar and buys herself some alcohol. The girl sits down next to him, offers to buy her a drink. The guy does not have time to answer anything, as the representative, the fair sex with deft movements of her fingers, takes the glass of alcohol from him and does a couple of sips. The hero asks what's wrong with her. The unknown woman replies that this is all just booze and you shouldn't be so stingy. At this point, three guys approach the couple from behind, recognizing the girl as someone familiar. The man asks the beauty to return his wallet, and then they will forget about it. The girl does. He pretends to have no idea what wallet he's talking about. Then the goon asks that the beauty, I didn't force them. She also hides behind the hero's back, claiming that her boyfriend is here and he is very happy with her. Suddenly, Zietian hands the wallet to the other person, clarifying, this is what he wants. Girl, she curses under her breath because she wanted to hide it for a while. The big guy thinks the guys with him is playing, and his friend realizes that the couple really did it. The hero is negative. She nods her head, noting that he doesn't play with men. These words irritate the Trinity, and they break down on the hero with fists, and he gets rid of them so quickly that the girl doesn't even know what to do. Understands what happened. At this point, one of the girl's subordinates at the end table leans over her, clarifying, did Miss Hong see it? The same one asks you not to take it into your head. Zietian turns to the beauty behind her. He tells her that she drank his glass of wine, so she should remember. Pay the invoice. This stresses the girl out, but she throws herself at him again, asking where he lives and where he wants to go. Does he want her to take him home in a taxi? The hero replies that it is not necessary. The girl specifies, in fact, she's laughing inwardly, because she's already swiped the miser's wallet. And when he gets out of the car, she's not going to let him go. Taxi, and he will not have money to pay for the trip. He will cry. Representative. The fairer sex feels its pockets and notices the oddity. The hero holds the wallet with 2 fingers, saying that there is no point in looking for it, because he has already returned it. The girl is not offended, noticing that he is just a professional. The guy gets in a taxi and calls to Brother Zhu. The same person immediately asks how the exams went. Zietian asks you not to worry about. There are no problems with this issue, and the tournament will be held in 3 days, so he can't skip it. The hero ends the conversation. Mentally, he notes that he's not as weak as he used to be, more than enough to handle San. 3 days pass quickly and the guy goes with his brother and his student to the villa. Leolin. At the entrance, they are met by a beefy man with a long braid. He asks you to enter the old days. Shuya. He thanks you. At this time, the hero Mr. Fan asked him to visit this place. Besides, he was hoping to see an old acquaintance. The man asks if the guy's last name is Xiang. The hero fully introduces himself, thereby giving a positive answer. Then the other person decides to ask if Zietian is confident in today's situation. The meeting. The guy says that if he wasn't sure, he wouldn't have come. The man laughs, saying that he really is a hero with a child's body. Then a group approaches the two people who are talking. One of whom notices that they are a little late. They turn to the inflated one, to the man as to Mr. Fan, and the latter declares that it is not too late, so they can prepare for, well, now that everyone's here. An unidentified middle-aged man with a mustache wishes to discuss first. Rules. He wants Zhu Dechuan's pair of eyes when he wins, and he also wants Xia Qian lost one leg. The hero also wonders what will happen if he wins. A man with a mustache reports that in this case, they would forget about the past, and Zhu Dechuan would no longer have anything to do with him, and he himself would not. It won't hurt Tom. The conversation is interrupted by the son, who is not ready to let the old man go just like that. He expresses a desire to kill Zhu Dechuan. Then the owner of the estate notices that the boy does not have the possibility of killing someone in Leolin Villa. The father closes his son, fearing the wrath of the master, Fan, so he asks the latter not to take it personally because he's still a child. Tian also declares that if the opposite side needs his life, then he is ready to bet it, provided that the enemy does the same. A man doesn't understand how a guy does. My miserable life against his. Then Xiao Fei gets angry, trying to get into the conversation of adults. Such arrogant words towards the master hurt him, but the hero calls him. Calm down. At this point, another person enters the room, saying that to fight Zietian's opponent will be him, so no one can save him from the quicksand now. Mr. Fan, hearing the words of the fighter, decides to find out if the hero belongs to quicksand. Having received a negative answer, he emphasizes that this fight can take place, and, regardless of their bids, this decision will be guarded personally by them. In a few minutes, the battle begins. The opponent jumps up, trying to throw a roundhouse kick. We're napping. He blocks the kick with his fist. In that instant, Mr. Fan recognizes the guy's style. This is Tai Chi. The hero's opponent also understands that he is in the early stage of the yellow level, so he decides not to delay any longer. He wants to see if Zietian has what it takes. They collide again, and the brunette blocks an opponent's attack. The enemy mentally notes that he underestimated his opponent, because with him will be harder to handle than he thought. Zietian's height inspires awe in a fighter's heart, so he wants to get it over with quickly. A street fighter takes a fighting stance and concentrates his energy. The man's son stands for claims that he has become serious, which means that the guy has. There's not a chance. Xiao Fei asks you to be more careful with your master. The hero, realizing that the enemy decided to act as ruthlessly as possible, decides not to leave him a single one. A chance. When the other party's kick was about to hit Zietian, the other party threw a kick at him. His index finger is in the way. This action shocked San, who didn't have time to stop him. Your attack. In the next instant, the street fighter was already sprawled on the floor, holding onto his leg. While San was writhing in pain, Zietian calmly walked over to him and pressed another pain point, only on the other leg. The guy screamed in pain, which caused a worried exclamation from the mustachioed man and the joyful shout of Brother Zhu and his disciple. The hero straightened up and said that San had lost both of his legs, but he won't kill him because he has a lot of enemies whose bills he hasn't paid yet. Mr. Fan also wondered who the Tai Chi guy was studying with. Zietian says that he learned this by accident once in the park, and he showed it to him. Mr. Fang, who also told him to come visit him at Leolin Villa one day. After that, it becomes clear to the interlocutor why all these movements were so familiar to him. Zhu Dechuan suggests finding a place to celebrate. The hero also picks up the phone, after which says it won't work today because he's busy, so he suggests rescheduling it. The celebration is for another time. Evening comes. In one of the alleys, the hero is called by someone. This person turns out to be Bingbing, who confesses that I thought he wasn't coming. The guy notices that the girl is late and still dares so. She talks about him, then asks him why she's dressed up like that today. Really, officer? I wore a dress together with my usual sports uniform today. Representative. The fairer sex tries to catch their breath, saying that she didn't want him to dress up on purpose. Hers, so I chose my own clothes. Then my partner twists her leg, almost falling. The hero reacts in time, holding it. He knows perfectly well that she's not used to it. High heels, so he is ready to help her. There's laughter from the sidelines, and then a girlish voice announcing that she's met him again. Attracts the attention of both. Partners turn around and see a girl in luxurious black dress. Bingbing asks who it is, and Zietian bluntly says that it is a thief. In fact, this is the same girl who tried to rob him the other day. After these words, the police take off from their place, wanting to catch the thief, and the latter runs away, not realizing that happens. After seeing what he did, the guy admits that he shouldn't have said it. He goes to the door, where both beauties ran in, and realizes that he seems to have triggered an instinct. Catching in a mousetrap, Bingbing calls for the thief to be returned to her. In front of the same girl is another girl who asks to give her time to sort out the situation. Zietian is on time. He puts his hand on her back and he asks her not to arrest the girl because he said that she is a thief and not that she is stealing now. Then the police officer realizes that the beauty is not an active criminal. Hero. The same calls on the partner to give a chance to atone for those who once already committed a crime. Crimes. The girl comes forward and begins to assent to the guy, saying that she was chasing after him, even though she didn't steal anything. A representative of the fair sex that harnessed for a thief notes that since it was just a misunderstanding, maybe you should sit down and have a drink. Bingbing claims she can't drink because she's still on a mission. Zietian puts down her own. She puts her hands on her partner's shoulders and forces her to sit on the couch, asking her if her legs hurt from the pain. A long run in heels. The four of them sit down at the same table, and the police officer realizes that her legs really hurt. Then, apparently, the owner of the establishment asks a subordinate to bring a band-aid that has already been used. After a couple of minutes, it turns out to be in the hands of the hero's partner. Wine is poured into glasses. As agreed, no one pours Bingbing. The girl is the same. I am dissatisfied with this development. She takes the glass away from Zietian, who looks blank. He asks her what she's doing. The same one overturns the glass without further ado, and the hero immediately. He realizes that it was just an indirect kiss. On the face of the hostess of the establishment appears smile, while Bingbing downs a whole glass in one gulp. The owner of the restaurant whispers to the hero that she jealous. The latter does not understand who they are talking about. Then the girl with red hair. He looks at the drinking police officer. Zietian feels like he's being electrocuted. He understands that the other person is referring to her, but he believes that this cannot be, because I have no place in my head for such things. The girl calls him a stupid boy. Hostess emphasizes that girls behave this way only if they are jealous and if they don't believe them. If she did, then he'd just have to wait. As soon as Bingbing gets a glass of alcohol out of her mouth, she says. She gives the guy a very telling look, then grabs his arm and pulls him along, declaring that it's time for them to go because they still have work to do. Zietian also asks her partner to keep her cool in his hands, and he is amazed that she got drunk from one glass of alcohol. At this time, the hostess asks not to steal anything from her bar, and the thief sadly holds out what she needs. Too bad he already has a girlfriend. Bingbing, along with the guy, rents a karaoke room and starts singing I love you for the rest of my life. For the first time in my life, I allowed. Let yourself drop all inhibitions. Let me dream of you and myself. Zietian notices that this is the real loss for her is not debuting as an idol. The girl also reminds that her singing is just a cover. She also told him to keep an eye on the target, so she clarifies whether he did it. The guy tells her he's watching, so she doesn't have to be so loud or they'll have to talk to her. They'll hear you. Bingbing claims to have rented a room with a better view, so her partner should be there. Get serious. The hero calls her to turn off the microphone. In fact, their goal is already here, but there is one caveat. The brunette is not averse to interrupting a couple in love, but it will not be good to defame the eyes of this lady. The police station. Then the guy jumps up from his seat, noting that it's time for them to go. This is surprising the girl, because she doesn't understand what happened, and the song isn't over yet. Zietian explains that the target has just entered a meeting. Partners carefully observes the table of aristocrats. Bingbing says she can't believe her partner didn't tell her that Huoyazi was already here. Hero, however, he believes that now is a good time to find out about this, because there is a chance that the goal will have. There is a serious matter. Upon hearing this, the police officer suggests that we go there and listen to what they are saying. guy, but he stops the beauty, saying that there is no need for this because he can get out of here. Understand what they're talking about. Bingbing wonders if his partner can read lips. The hero is not. He answers the question by saying that the other guy is a foreigner, and in 3 days to Zhonghai City, a relic will arrive. However, they haven't said what it is, but they are clearly going to do something with it. Then the girl realizes that theft is a very big deal. She finds it hard to believe. After all, such things cannot be joked with, so she clarifies whether her partner is cheating. Zia Tian notes that he wouldn't joke around with something like that. After that, the police officer decides trust him, adding that she was willing to buy him a drink since he'd been accompanying her all day. On a task, the hero also apologizes, saying that he can't today because his cousin is only a child. I texted him to go home. Bingbing asks again about his cousin, wanting to know if she still lives there. The guy with her. The guy gives a very vague positive answer. The beauty blushes and asks if he has permission, if they can live together, and he's not old enough to get married yet. The guy doesn't understand why he should. You need permission, after which he once again reminds you that the girl is his cousin, but realizing that this does not really work, he adds that they do not live alone, but she lives together with her. My best friend. Bingbing clarifies, it turns out 2 girls and a guy. Zia Tian notes that the more her partner talks, the more outrageous it becomes because she's supposed to. I've watched some fantastic movies. At this time at home 2 girls are standing at a strange thing, only in some towels. Kingsu nervously asks if they are actually going to do this. A friend notices that they promise to celebrate, so it will be a surprise for everyone. The cousin agrees, a little embarrassed. In her mind, she wishes that Zia Tian would hurry up. I returned home. The hero returns home late at night. As soon as he opens the door, he lets everyone know. To the tenants who came here, he is greeted by 2 girls dressed in very revealing outfits. Rabbits. The cousin has a black outfit with white fur, and the blonde has a pink outfit. They rush it to congratulate him on becoming the best student in the university entrance exam. The hero's gaze falls on the very elegant form of a handsome man. He freezes, speechless. The unusual reaction of the guy is noticed by the blonde. She nervously asks what happened, assuming he's too surprised. When the guy's nose starts to bleed, then their expressions change. The blonde-haired girl now repeats her own voice more confusedly. Does Kingsu notice that this is bad? She thinks it has become too exciting for her. Zia Tian also wants to lose her sight at this moment, trying not to open her eyes, which are still closed. They fall on the appetizing forms of the fair sex. When beauty's fit, while trying to wipe away the blood coming from his nose, the hero stops them by trying to move away and create a distance between them. The next morning, the hero moves through the corridors of the office, mentally noting that the girls almost killed him last night, celebrating his record-breaking exam scores, even though he had to. It's hard to deny the fact that it was a good celebration. After that, the guy is negative. He shakes his head, trying to clear his head as he heads over to Nurse Ru. Zia Tian opens the door and enters the study, wishing good morning to Sister Ru. The latter notices that he had come at a very good time, because she wanted to ask him for a favor. The girl passes to the guy a bouquet of gorgeous flowers, and the hero immediately asks who sent them. Inside the bouquet there are 2 notes. One says that Hua loves her, and the other says that Ruru is a light in the dark night. He considers this a very banal gesture of showing attention. The girl orders the guy to take the flowers and go to the urn. When a guy does this, he asks what he should do next. The beauty asks him to open the basket and throw them away. Zia Tian obeys Sister Ru's orders. Seeing the very irritated state of the interlocutor, the hero is in a hurry to find out what happened. Ta says that Wen Jiahua is one of the 4 young masters of Zhonghai. He constantly stalks her and annoys her. Zia Tian notices that I constantly heard about the 4 young masters of Zhonghai. Sister Ru broadcasts that there is a Jiang, Qianshu, Hu Franai, Jiahua, and Wang Nianlin are, to put it bluntly, the 4 rich and powerful, a playboy in their families, and Wen Jiahua is the 2nd son in the powerful Wen family. The hero knows Wang Nianlin. This is the same blonde man who is chasing his cousin. Interviewee tells him that he'd better not provoke this guy, because Mr. Wang is known as the #1 genius doctor in Zhonghai City, and his network covers the entire Zhonghai City, and no one dares to provoke him. The hero nervously reports that he has already done it. Sis Ru exhales languidly, telling her to forget about what she just said. At this point in the door there is a knock on the door, and then a guy's voice asks if Ruru is here, his light in the dark room. Nights, the girl begins to shake from what is happening. Zia Tian asks what he should do and if she wants to let him in. The girl in response asks, what should she do if she doesn't want him to come in? Because all the guards are scared of this powerful woman, a person, so they don't dare stop him from going to her. The hero also notices that if she doesn't want to do something, then she can let him take care of it. Sister Rue clarifies, what is the interlocutor going to do? The guy doesn't say anything. He gives the doorknob a sharp tug. He opens the door and opens it. At the entrance stands a plump young man with a bouquet of luxurious flowers. Both are very frightened, and the hero is even surprised that he will have to deal with such a creature. He gets angry, asking what the man is talking about and who he called the creature. Zietian is perplexed. He asks if he's not a monster, and the rich man tells him to stop joking with him like that. Hua notices the girl behind the hero and asks why Ruruzio doesn't answer his calls. The same. She is very shy, reminding me that she asked me not to call her that. The guy asks the girl not to be angry, saying that he bought flowers for her again. Interrupts the conversation. Zietian asked if the other person was deaf, because the girl had clearly said that she didn't want to hear the other person's voice. That was her name. Hua does not understand who the guy thinks he is, since he is interfering in the wrong business. So he calls on him to leave in a good way. Sister Rue claims that it is Zietian who is the one who is being treated. He's now the special director of the Tseng group, so that's up to him. The hero notes that it's the rich man who should leave, because if it wasn't for Sister Rue, he would have kicked him out. The fat man laughs at this, urging them to try to kick him out. In the next instant, Hua storms out of the office. The receptionist, standing by the door, covers the door. Roth held back his shock. Zietian goes out to the rich man, saying that he has never heard a more ridiculous request than wanting to kick yourself out. The hero grabs the screaming fat man by the arm. The guy doesn't understand what the guy is up to, so he just prays that the guy will let him go. Zietian walks over to the trash can and uses one hand to send her impudent admirer, Sister Rue, into it. After that, it states that the garbage should be sorted properly. The rich man, he looks out of the trash can, shouting that Tom should wait a little longer and pay for it. The hero is the same. He returns to the office, where the girl asks him what he did with Wenjiahua. He explains that he followed her advice, so he went to the basket and threw it away. The guy comes up to the girl and pats on the head, noting that she can no longer be afraid of anyone. But with them, nothing. It won't happen. Sister Rue is very shy about it, and Zietian remembers that he wanted to introduce her with her older brother. A representative of the fair sex is surprised that the guy has. I have a brother. The hero also explains that he is not his own brother, but he treats him as his own, so he wants to introduce him to her. Rue also notices that he is also not averse to introducing the interlocutor to his own family. Inwardly, the beauty shudders, realizing that she has no future with him, but I've already come to think of him as my family. At this time in the hospital, Hua calls Symbio and asks a request for help. He clarifies, didn't the Tseng group come out with new snow lotus water after? What encourages the interlocutor to go and help him make a rustle there. Rich guy drops the phone, noticing that since Zhang Ru wasn't looking in his direction, then she shouldn't blame him for it. Ruthlessness. The girl suggests going to another place, wanting to see the clothes there. The hero is the same, calls her to stop, because he can't carry so many clothes. Sang-Ru also notices that before she went to his brother's house, she should dress him up properly, because she didn't want to see him again. It looked too shabby. After that, she notes that they have reached a retail outlet. Their new lotus water, so she suggests we go and see how things are going. They approach the point and see a crowd of people, realizing that there are quite a lot of buyers. Zietian also emphasizes that all these people are not customers. A few girls indeed. In the first rows, they shout about their problems. One of them had her face ruined by the water. Another states that the lotus water is a real poison. And the third one demands that they be compensated for the damage. Medical expenses. The saleswoman nervously asks the ladies to calm down, and the same demands payment for inconveniences. Zhang Ru opens his mouth in shock, not understanding how this is possible. To the next. A moment later, the girl's phone rings. She picks up the phone, and the subordinate tells her that they are waiting for her. Things are really bad. Zietian has someone broadcasting live from their point of view, saying that there are problems with the quality of their products, and many victims have problems. The girl immediately clarifies how this could have happened, because she also uses lotus water and why she has so many people have side effects. Here the hero asks his sister not to worry and just call the police, noting that he can take care of the rest. With that, the brunette puts shopping bags on the floor next to the other person. Genru doesn't understand why to call the police, because if it's a quality problem, then it will be spread. The hero once again asks her not to worry, confidently stating that he knows about it. What's going on? He approaches the enraged ladies, asking them not to make a scene here, but rather, just say what's going on. Evil representatives of the fair sex ask who he is, such and how sideways it bothers him. Zietian says that lotus water is their product, and he helps. Then one of the girls asks to look at her face, saying that it happened after she used his products. She asks how he's going to fix it. The brunette also snatches the phone out of the other woman's hands, starting to climb in her personal photos, while she's trying to figure out what he's doing. She takes him for a thief, complimenting this with what to take. It is illegal to view someone's phone number and view their photo album. Zietian opens one of the doors from her photos, saying lotus water is a new product, but from her photo album, he sees that she's had acne for 6 months now.